Greetings to all the lovely ladies and gentlemen out there. I'm your host, the ProGent, and today I'm fulfilling my contractual requirement as a content creator by providing you a top 10 list of stuff I think is interesting. Per the decree of the YouTube Council of Elders, a certain percentage of all content on the site must be top 10 lists. And the council's already upset with me for not challenging enough people to boxing matches. In this case, it's not so much a top 10 list as a pair of top 5s. And today, we're looking at my top 5 video games that deserve an anime. As I mentioned, today I'll be presenting 5 video game franchises that I think would make a great anime. Obviously these are subjective lists, so you're likely to see games I particularly like make the list. I tried to be as diverse as possible in terms of genres, so as to avoid picking 5 JRPGs or 5 action games, which wouldn't make for a very interesting selection. Now, without further ado, number 5, No More Heroes. Initially released on the Nintendo Wii in 2007, the No More Heroes franchise has established itself as a hilariously crude, bloody, wildly entertaining hack-and-slash series full of colorful characters that range from mildly kooky to madly insane, with the main character, Travis Touchdown, not giving two shits who gets in his way. No More Heroes already lends itself to becoming a great action anime, with each fight from the series being excellently crafted to be different from the next, allowing for creativity and animation style to be brought in for each assassin. I could see a series where the art style changes with the introduction of each new assassin in their territory, to match their combat style and personalities, until Travis ultimately overcomes their challenge and his own initial style blasts through. For instance, Destroy Man could have a comic book style introduction and details in the backgrounds, while Shinobu could have an Afro-samurai hardcore anime style. Like I said, it's only a thought, but for No More Heroes I could see it working really well. Even the everyday menial jobs Travis has to perform to afford fighting the new assassins could be brought in for some extra humor value between the fights to give us some downtime. I find too much action in a series can bog down a fluid narrative, so throwing in some breather time would help immensely. With a good mix of action and humor, I think that No More Heroes could make a great anime. Number 4, Nioh. I really fell in love with Nioh the moment I picked it up. I mentioned that this was one of my favorite games in 2017, and it's for good reason. The plot is a solid Sengoku-era adventure with a yokai twist, starring William Adams, a real-life historical Englishman who became a trusted advisor to Tokugawa Ieyasu. The story even included Yasuke, an African samurai who served under Oda Nobunaga, with amazing talent behind the character design, level structure, combat system, and vast customization choices for various fighting styles and armor. Nioh gave me everything I wanted out of the game and more. All of this obviously lends itself into a very interesting idea for an animated film along the lines of, say, Captain Harlock's Space Pirate or Appleseed. Nioh was based on an Akira Kurosawa script, and Kurosawa's Seven Samurai is one of my all-time favorite films. It's a high bar to set, but I'd love to see a Nioh animated film with the same level of excellence as Kurosawa's films. Japan, get on that. Number 3, Odin Sphere. This is a hard one to talk about, since how could you really animate a George Kamitani series without his signature art style behind it? I'd love to see a big-budget animated series with the in-game style brought to life for 12 episodes. There's something about the uniqueness of not only the game's art direction, but its storytelling that could turn it into a classic almost instantly. The introduction could be Alice, the little girl reading all these stories, opening a tome and sitting in a big comfy chair, essentially bookmarking the various tales of each character from Odin Sphere. Watching her imagination pour out of the books into her attic. Maybe shifting art styles could be an interesting take on this classic RPG. On top of the beautiful scenery, combat, character design, and plot pacing, hell, you could just make the show about the food you eat in-game. God knows there's enough anime out right now that are basically food porn. Whatever direction you take, Odin Sphere has the potential to produce a timeless anime. Number 2. Trauma Center. I enjoy a good ER drama every now and again. One of my favorite shows growing up was Scrubs, which was able to balance a fantastic sense of humor with genuine drama from time to time. And it's that sort of thought process that leads me to want a Trauma Center series. Being a visual novel style game to begin with, the story is already given a great deal of time, with the operations providing really interesting challenges and some ventures into the thought process of the various doctors you play throughout the series. I can't recall many anime series that spend much time in an operating room, aside from Naoki Urasawa's Monster, but those sorts of scenes are always very nerve-wracking. Even in an animated form, seeing a surgery done puts you in a state of mind where you're hoping the doctors don't somehow make a mistake or some abnormality pops up. And with Trauma Center adding the supernatural aspect of the healing touch, you could make some seriously heart-stopping moments. Number 1. Final Fantasy VI. Initially released in 1994 on the Super Famicom, Final Fantasy VI has stood the test of time as one of my favorite childhood games. The excellent sprite work, stellar soundtrack, brilliant story and pacing, and a cast of unforgettable characters keep Final Fantasy VI not only one of my favorite RPGs, but a strong contender for the best RPG, Super Nintendo game, and even to some people, the best game of all time. And boy, does it ever deserve some love. The more recent Final Fantasy games really haven't lived up to the standard that 6 set. And even Final Fantasy VII, which has seen spin-offs and movies, and now remakes galore, doesn't really quite reach up to the same level. Come at me, fanboys. I find that 6 lends itself extremely well to an anime, maybe in the style of Vampire Hunter D, keeping the classic Yoshitaka Amano designs and adding stunning animation to it, on top of what could be truly breathtaking background imagery. The designs of the many locations in the Final Fantasy VI world I would love to see out of a Makoto Shinkai or Mamoru Hosoda film. You could even structure the story into 2 seasons, with Season 1 ending when Kafka destroys the world. There's a lot of potential, and I wish Square Enix would give it a chance. So there you have it, 5 games I think would make an excellent anime. Do I think any of these adaptations will actually happen? Probably not, but there's always hope. Feel free to make your own suggestions and or tell me how wrong I am in the comments below. And if you haven't already, check out the flip side of this list. Link should be popping up right about now. I've been the Professional Gentleman, and thank you for listening. And you can tell the council that if they send me one more request to play Five Nights at Freddy's, they can shove it right up their... Thanks for watching. As always, a thank you to Andy Lita for keeping me looking so fine. Check out his work in the description below. If you enjoyed the show, please click on that thumbs up over there. It helps us out a lot. If you've got suggestions for something I can review in the future, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And of course, subscribe to my channel for future content.
Love ya, boy.